It was claimed that it was an unknown creature is seen at many places. It not an ordinary creature, but a strange one. No one has seen it before, and it has a lot of powers. People were afraid it because it used to drink the blood of sheep and goats. All the farmers, hunters, and people were worried about it. Was that creature really dangerous? Was it a myth? Will that creature harm humans or not? That's what we will know in today's story. When the research team was searching for evidence of that creature, they saw the creature's mark on the walls, which indicated that that creature is found here. The leader of this research team was in the tent outside, who was a scientist. He was working there when one of his workers comes to him while running. He was told that he has found that creature in the cave where he was searching for it. That worker was telling the truth. After hearing this, the scientist went with the worker to the caves where he found that creature. In Spanish, it is called Chupacabra. It looked small in size because it was a baby of Chupacabra. Now the scientist was slowly getting closer to the creature. He was not convinced that his years of hard work has paid off. Finally, the creature was found. He doesn't want to end it, but it was his purpose to find it, which he was doing for his seniors and the government, because they invested a lot of money in this research. And now the time had come to make them face the truth, to bring this creature in front of everyone, and to tell them that there were no rumors about it. But it is true. The reason behind this creature was that everyone thought that the powers it had could cure any disease. It has so many powers that we can make many medicines with it, because it was an old era's creature. The scientist tried to get closer to it, but because it was a small baby, it was afraid that he might harm it. Now, without wasting time, he decides to lock the baby in the cage, but then the mother of the baby comes in front of him. When it saw that he was going to take its baby, it starts growling at him with anger, and suddenly attacks them. It was quite big in size, so it hit him hard, pushed him away, and quickly picked up her baby and runs from there. It was trying to get out of these caves so that it could save her baby. Then the scientist and his research team started following it. The scientist was continuously shooting it, and sparks were coming out. Chupacabra gets hurt with a shoot, which burns one of its wings. It becomes injured, and here, we clearly see this creature. It was like a tiger and a lion. But it also had wings with which it could fly. But now that the scientist had injured it, it was facing a lot of trouble to fly. That's why it was just running away, while the scientist was chasing it with his team because he wanted to catch it at any cost. Now, this Chupacabra was smart, and when it was crossing the road with its baby, a car hits it hard, with which the mother and the baby fall apart. Now the baby was fine, but the mother was injured and one of its wings was badly broken. The research team was still following them, and because even after a lot of efforts, it could not escape them. So Chupacabra got an idea. It left its baby at a safe place and went to another place. It came in front of the cars and started screaming loudly to divert their attention. As everyone's attention diverts, it runs and took it to another place so that they could get away from its baby, which could harm its baby. Now the scientist was happy with this success. But now, if he will not prove this, one thing which is clear, that no one was going to believe his words for that. He needed that creature, but he found some nails and wings. The scene shifts to a school in Kansas, where a boy named Alex is shown. He's the main character of this story. When he was having his lunch, a boy came and started troubling him. But then the boy himself came to Alex and sat down. He was in a bad mood, and it was clear that Alex was not happy for some reason. When he came home after school, he had a fight with his mom because he did not like Spanish or the Mexican language. And here his mom was telling him to learn these two languages. He was refusing for this. That's the reason that often the class students used to tease him. Alex was very upset because he was the resident here, but he did not know the language. Alex's dad died of cancer. Since then he felt lonely, and he was always sad. His mom advised him to go to Mexico for a few days so that you can know about your family. Because your grandfather is there and you have not even been there before. Now Alex did not want to go there, but he had to go for his mom. When he reached the airport, his grandfather came to pick him, who immediately hugged him and started joking with him. Because he had made a lot of jokes, he was happy because he was meeting him for the first time. Although Alex had also met him for the first time, but he was sad like always, that he could not look much happy. On the way, his grandfather started trying to talk to Alex again and again, but soon he found out that after his dad's death, he was sad and worried. He also don't know Spanish because he was not interested in, and he never wanted to learn. Here, his grandfather still started talking to him to cheer him up. He tells him that I live in a village where your two cousins have also come who will spend time with you, so that you can get along with them. Alex meets his cousin first, who only knew how to speak Spanish. He was wearing a mask and there was a cloth wrapped around his back that looked like a superhero. But soon we found out that the mask and cloth were of his grandfather's, and he was a very good and famous wrestler. Now here Alex meets his other cousin who shows him a lot of masks and wrestling clothes, and the trophies won by his grandfather. Then shows him his grandfather's video on TV, from which Alex also came to know that my grandfather was a very good wrestler of his time. He was so famous and brave that he won a lot of fights, but one day his enemy threw him out of the ring, where wrestling takes place, which made him unconscious, and he was immediately taken to the hospital. But he did not come to his senses. When the doctors checked him, they found out that he had been in a coma for a month. Now his wrestling career was over, and along with it, there was a deep effect on his brain, which is still there, and he often forgets things. Knowing this, Alex felt bad for his grandfather. He feels pity on him, so he starts respecting him even more. It was Alex's first night, so he couldn't sleep and felt something strange outside. He took off the cloth, but there was only a goat, and then he looked at his grandfather, who was going to the farmhouse. Alex got confused and doubted that grandfather was hiding something, so he also followed him. Standing outside, he sees that grandfather has gone inside, and he is holding a music box in his hand, which he is playing and looking in front, which looks like he is waiting for someone to come. Alex was standing outside and felt that there is a dangerous animal in the bushes, which is coming towards him. So he moved back. Then he screamed loudly and fell down. Hearing his voice, grandfather also came out to check. Him and his cousins also woke up. They come to check. Alex told them that I felt a dangerous animal in the bushes, and I screamed out of fear. But instead of a dangerous animal, a black rabbit comes out. His cousins started making fun of him, saying that you are such a coward, you got scared of a rabbit. His grandfather started asking Alex, tell me the truth that you saw it there. Now Alex started doubting his grandfather that really grandfather is hiding something. He was sitting here expecting some other animal that it will be here. The scientist also got the last warning from his seniors and the government that if he does not show that animal, he will be banned. The next morning, when Alex wakes up, he saw the same creature Chupacabra on the bed, but he was not harming Alex. It was just sitting on his bed, but Alex gets shocked to see it, and because it was a little scary, Alex got scared. He moved back, and Chupa also gets scared when he did this and moves back. Then it jumped on the things and ran out of the window, and because of this, the things get messy. Alex's cousin came there to see what happened. Alex looked out of the window to see where that creature run, but he could not see. But Alex's cousin was sitting there and was wearing headphones, so she did not hear anything. Alex thinks that if I tell her something, she will make fun of me again and will laugh at me. So without telling anything, he comes and sits next to her because he would feel bad if someone call him mad. Alex's cousin says the grandfather is missing. We should look for him. So the three children go to the market to look for him, but even after looking for a long time, they do not find him. Now, when the children were going home by car, they found their grandfather, who had a goat in his hand. He got down quickly and went to him. But when they asked, he did not remember anything that why he had come here. He also forgot the way to home and all this. As I told you, he used to forget things. Then he remembers it is important to go home. So now they took him home by car, where the search team was looking for the creature on the way. Now grandfather knew what the team was doing here, but the children were unaware of this. After coming home, Alex tells his cousin that I have a doubt on grandfather. He is hiding something from us. And as far as I believe, he is hiding the old creature Chupacabra, but his cousin does not believe this. Although Alex shows him the music box and tells him about going to the farmhouse at night. But still she does not believe. Now Alex takes the music box and goes to the farmhouse and starts playing music. After listening to the music, Chupa comes out, but Alex drops the music box in front of it. He was scared. But soon he realized that Chupa will not harm him. They came close to each other and thus they became friends. Alex gives raw meat to the creature to eat, but the creature was also smart and gives him a dead rat in a box. But obviously Alex was not going to eat it as he opened the box. He feels nausea and says to Chupa, "I can't eat this." It is bad, and because the weather was getting worse, and this was baby Chupa, so it was scared of thundering. Then Alex, just like a friend, gives it support. He took it with him. The next morning, Alex's cousins also discover about Chupa creature. They were scared of it because it was strange that it could walk and fly. But soon they realized that it will not harm us. And they also became friends with Chupa. Then his grandfather came here and lovingly called Chupa to him, who immediately went to him like a loyal animal. Here, his grandfather started telling the truth that a few days ago at night, when I was coming home, its mother collided with my car so that we could understand that it was their car which collided, not of the search team. Then he says, I thought it was an ordinary animal, so I ignored it and went ahead. But when I got close to the house, I found this because its mother had gone somewhere else, and this poor animal followed me to the house. As I saw it, I understood that it is scared and it will not harm me, so I brought it to my house. Then I found out that the search team was looking for it. I was worried that if they get it, they will harm it. Then some experiments will be done, so I kept it here to save its life. Knowing this, the children also felt pity for Chupa, and from then on, they started taking care of it. But unfortunately, one day, a scientist and his companion came to their house. When Chupacabra collided with the grandfather's car, the number plate fell on the road. The scientist says while showing it, "It is yours because I have found out, and now I have to search your house." But grandfather without fear refused him and says, "I will not allow you to do this," and flees him while threatening him. Alex and Chupa's friendship was getting deeper, but because it was a child and was also scared, so, for now, it could not fly. Because it could not dare, then his cousin helps it. He takes it to the roof and teaches it to fly. And again, training it how to fly. Now it was clear to see Alex that now he is happy. He is feeling good coming here because he got such a good friend and also such a good grandfather and cousins. Then one day grandfather started telling him about his dad, that when I left wrestling, I taught it to your dad. He was my son, as well as my intelligent student. But then one day he met your mom. He got married. And from then on he left wrestling. Alex felt bad listening to this about his dad because of this. His grandfather also realized that Alex has a lot of anger. And he is spending his life like this, so he decides that I will get rid of his anger and will make him normal. For which he fights with him and provokes him to fight so that he can get rid of his anger. But because he was his grandfather, he did not want to hit him, but in the end, when his grandfather did not listen, he got angry. He fights with him and pushes him. He falls so hard that he immediately fainted. Seeing this, all three children were worried. Then a doctor is called, who checks grandfather and tells him that his memory has gone for a few days. He has to take complete rest. That day, the scientist came to his house again as he went to the farmhouse. he sees Chupa there. He hits it with a gun and makes it unconscious and picks him up in his lap and starts taking it with him. Although the children were stopping him, they try to save Chupa, but because they were kids. The scientist also shows them the gun and takes Chupa away. This makes them sad. Alex hurriedly comes to his grandfather when he was sleeping, but he wakes him up and tells him that you have to save Chupa now because his grandfather's memory had gone, he asks. Who is Chupa and who are you? Now Alex uses his brain. He gets an idea. He tells his grandfather that the enemy is in your house. Who threw you out of the ring? Hearing this, his grandfather becomes furious. He quickly puts on his mask and hangs his old clothes and comes out. He gets ready to fight with the scientist. He kicks him hard, which makes him fall at a far distance. Then he uses his strength and easily defeats him because he was a wrestler. After doing this, they all come out, sit in the scientist's car and run away because he had already put Chupa in the car. Seeing this, the scientist quickly informs his team about this. They were happy while sitting in the car, because now they were going to leave Chupa at its house, where its whole family would be. Alex asks his grandfather, where did you see its mom going? Because there would be its house. So we will take it there, but as usual, his grandfather forgot this too. They started loving Chupa then. As they get out of the car, Chupa itself starts running away. Seeing this, they also started running after it, because they understood that Chupa knows the way to its house and is running in the same direction. Alex was right behind Chupa. They both come running to a deep pit, on which a thick pipe was placed. Now, because Chupa was afraid of flying, so it does not fly forward, but started moving forward through the pipe. Then he starts saying bye to it. Now, when Alex was standing behind, the tiger comes and was moving forward to attack Alex. He got scared of this and started climbing on the pipe. Meanwhile, his grandfather also came here, and because he was brave, so he started fighting the tiger. He somehow runs it away from there. Then the pipe breaks, and he was about to fall down but grabs the small pipe. After seeing his friend in trouble, Chupa came back and started climbing on the pipe to save Alex. But that pipe also breaks, but fortunately, Chupa had learned to fly, so it helps its friend. That Alex grabs his tail, then Chupa flies him out and saves Alex's life. They meet each other and become happy. Meanwhile, a scientist comes. He shoots Chupa and makes it unconscious, and threatens everyone to leave it. This time, the grandfather and the child were helpless, so even though they did not want, but they move back. The scientist shows them the arrow, picks up the unconscious Chupa, and puts it in his car. Now, as he was leaving, to save the small Chupa, the whole Chupa family comes there, who all attack his car. They started growling at him with anger. They ruined his car with their nails and toes. The grandfather and kids become happy that now Chupa baby will be saved. But the scientist was clever. He came out with the small Chupa and started threatening the big Chupa. The baby Chupa came to its senses, and the grandfather comes from behind and captures the scientist. He turns his arm and gets Chupa free, at the end with a wrestling trick. He picks him up and shoots her on the ground, which makes the scientist faint. Baby Chupa comes to its family and becomes happy. Now Alex and Chupa were good friends, so they say a final goodbye to each other with love. After it, they leave for their house. Alex was also happy with his cousins. Now, after a few days, he had to go to his house. He spent a good time here. He used to be sad and did not like his family, but now, after knowing the family and spending such a good time with them, he will miss them a lot. His grandfather was also happy because he learned what he wanted Alex to teach. Now they say goodbye to each other and hug each other. After it, Alex comes on the train and returns home, but when Alex saw outside, Chupa was flying in the air. It was happy and was having a lot of fun. Alex was surprised to see it, but also happy, because now it will always live a free life. Here Chupa fulfilled her friendship. It came to show Alex its glimpse. Due to it, They were happy. Because whether it is a friendship of an animal or a human, if someone is able to fulfill it, you always feel happy with them. Here, the story of this movie ends.